Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Okay, rolling. Today we are again outside in a different setup with Garma. So this is Garma. We have been friends since like we started working, and now she doesn't work with us anymore. Now we're even better friends, I think. So
Yep.
you want to start with the backstory? You want to tell everyone?
Yeah,
how we
so
met?
actually, fun fact, I actually really hated Kanika when I first saw her. My first interaction with her was like my first week of working there, and I was told to like do some presentation or something, and our manager was like, "Go speak with this girl called Kanika." I went to her, zero help, zero. There was zero input coming from her. It was just, and that's when I knew I was like, okay, this girl's gonna be of no help. But then we were in different departments, different teams, so we really didn't interact until you joined marketing
Yes,
last year.
that is true.
And I hated her guts before she even joined. Because I just felt like she was like, who's this like really loud, obnoxious, like, just comes and takes over the entire room. That's okay. No,
No,
that's okay.
no.
So this one has many of our pictures and videos in there about the simple pictures that tourists would like to take themselves. So security is calling because this is an interview. They stand and everything. They don't like the whole interview long duration kind of.
Oh, only till we eat is that not okay? Because it's just from our phone. We're just recording ourselves eating and drinking. That's all.
Yeah, they say
Can
But
you-
you're filming the scene where
Just
Yeah,
one
but
corner.
this one
Like,
thing.
we're not even moving the tripod.
I understand.
We're not filming anything for commercial or anything.
Like, it won't be going anywhere.
Yeah.
It's just for
I'm so
us.
sorry.
It's
Yeah.
actually for our family. It's sort of our dad's 50th.
Yeah,
So
just
it's-
okay.
Damn it. So much for trying to be famous.
Okay, so as you can see, we had to switch places because apparently shooting in these cafes isn't allowed just because of my stand. Crazy. But now we're back again. So as Garma was talking about how she disliked me and then she started liking me.
Yeah, basically.
Anything
She
about
wasn't
that?
very she wasn't very lovable to begin with. But I think as the time time went on, time went on. I think, like I said, like she let her walls down, and it was much easier to like get through to her. And I think it became. I actually probably had a lot of conversations with her that were on a much deeper level than I probably had with most colleagues, I would say. I think like
Yeah, that's
it was
true.
less superficial.
Yeah, it wasn't
Yeah.
very top level. It was more like under the surface.
Yeah, like whatever we did talk about was very, very sort of like emotional and
Yes.
yeah, like very personal. So yeah, I think that's how we ended up here.
And for me, so because obviously she had that cold vibe, give like I got that cold vibe, and then even I thought, okay, why is she asking for my help? And because I was in tech, she was in marketing, and then when I switched to marketing, even I was shy initially, but then I also like didn't reach out to them to talk and all. But I think with time, as like she said,
Yeah.
we just got more comfortable. There was a phase where I just didn't like her. I didn't like her because she can appear to be she can appear to be like a bit bitchy or like a bit mean, but no. Then she's a person who will make you feel comfortable around her. So that's something she did, and then I opened up like a flower.
Ew. Yeah, so I think
Yes. So and now this whole episode. So she has studied psychology, and I used to ask her really dumb questions, and I was in office, and every time I used to feel like we have to talk about.
It's okay.
Yeah, so as I was saying, I used to ask her really dumb questions in office. Ki, oh, Garma, you've studied psychology, so what, how,
read my mind.
In short.
Like, tell me what I'm doing. Tell me what I'm thinking.
Yeah. So again, so can psychology students read, like, can a psychology student read through a person and like, can you?
Okay, I don't honestly. I did only my bachelor, so I haven't done like such a detailed study. So I don't know honestly if people can. I don't think they can read your mind. Like that's not like
Yeah, I mean,
a possible thing. But I think they can. Like at least for me, I don't know if I owe it to my psychology degree or not. But I can understand people's like body, like their posture, their sort of their expressions, just their behavior. I think I can sort of analyze it. But again, I think it's just and like built in me. I don't think it's because I studied psychology or anything. Because this psychology that I studied was a lot to do with like the technical stuff, to understand how the brain works, or like how for someone like perception, like how someone recognizes a face, like what goes on in your brain. So it was a lot more technical. But I think because my mom also studies psychology actually, so I think it's just like conversations that happen in the house, and just like, just yeah, like just normal conversation that happen. I can like understand someone's body language basically.
Okay, that's interesting. Body language. I've on Instagram. I see these reels of these again. I think the holistic coaches and all these people.
Yeah.
They read like in any like event or whatever. They'll go and they'll judge a celebrities. Like, oh my god, this guy did this to his and whatever. So
Yeah.
that those I've seen recently, and so I think when do you think the whole mental health like topic became trending? I think because only recently I'm seeing that people are actually talking about
Yeah.
it. So is there any particular point where you
See, I
think-
can say personally, I think when I was like 15 or something, I think that's when I sort of like started getting to know about mental health a lot more, but it wasn't like a topic of conversation. But when I went to the US for my uni, that's when I really realized how much emphasis people are putting on mental health. Like everyone talks about it very openly. It's something that people are vulnerable in a good way. They, you have mental health days. Like today, I'm feeling, super down and I don't want to go to class. You have a mental health day that you can take. So I think that's when I personally learned, and I think my parents, along with it, grew with me as I was learning. But I think overall, for people, at least in India, I would say it's still pretty taboo. But I think COVID was like a huge milestone for people in terms of learning about mental health, because there were so many people that were just alone at home. Like there was obviously like it was a shit show for a lot of people. So I think that's when
even I remember one thing when like how so I've been a person who I just never I was that person who just didn't believe in mental illnesses at all, and I used to be like, this is before COVID, let's say, and like I used to think, I think they're just exaggerating, it's all in their head, and they just don't know how to control their emotions. Like that's how I looked at people are like, I think Deepika Padukone has started that whole depression like conversation, and I was like, it's just attention and all of that. And then I realized, I think during COVID, there were days when I started feeling so sad, and I was with my family, but I still started feeling so sad. I don't know for what reason. I was just like, I don't feel good. I don't feel good. And I was trying to explain it to my parents, but they were like,
there was no reason.
They were like, anything I'm saying, you're sitting at home, maybe could be just you're in your home. Could be that as well. I don't know what it was. And then I went to a doctor, but I didn't know who to go to, so it was a general physician. And then I was like, I'm not feeling good and whatever. And he gave me like sleeping pills, basically.
Oh shit!
So he's like, I think you might be a bit depressed. Here are some sleeping pills. You take one a day. And I used to take that pill every day. He prescribed me for like a 10-15 day course. And every day I used to take one pill midday, and then I used to sleep through the entire day.
What the hell?
And then I started feeling so dizzy. I started feeling like I'm just out of like place. And then I was like, no, something's wrong. I will not take this pill, whatever it is.
This doctor's license should be taken away. Disclaimer.
He's from Khalsabad, so I can't blame him.
Oh God.
And then for a while I stopped taking that pill. I took it for 3-4 days, and I was like, no, this is not working. It's fine. Fuck it. And then after then it felt normal. Then I just dismissed it, brushed it under the carpet, let it go, whatever. And then I think now in the like 1 or 2 years, like 2023 to 2024, is where I have started to actually talk about it and also understand it better. This is actually a thing. And although some part in me still feels a bit like I still hold back on doing a few things, like going to a therapist and doing this and that. I still have problems on that side. Like I don't really am completely able to give in to it. But so I'm a changed person. I think it's also because of these experiences.
I think also like it's a mindset. I feel like a lot of people, like I just don't understand why people have to think that mental health is such a bad thing or such a big thing. Not just bad, but such a huge deal that you have to like be like, oh shit, it's just something that you need help with. Like everyone talks about this analogy that, if you get like a broken arm, you'll go to a doctor. So same thing, if you feel like you're not feeling like yourself, or if you feel like you're feeling a little different, or you're feeling low, go talk to someone. Like it's not. I think it's just a mindset.
That's true. And also one more thing is that people also shy away because it's also in the family. Our parents don't understand it as much as you want to like make them understand. But there are certain inhibitions here and there that you face. So in your family, when you were growing up in your formative years, how was that? Like, were you open like to your parents' support?
Yeah, honestly, like touchwood, I've been blessed. My parents are genuinely like my best friends. I think we've always had a very, very open relationship in the family, in the sense that everyone, no one is shunned from talking about their feelings. No one's shunned from crying, breaking down at any given moment about the stupidest thing. But I think over the years, actually, COVID was a extreme turning point for me in like for the best way possible, because it was just me, my parents, and sometimes my nanny would come. When lockdown was a little easier. I think that really like brought us closer. For some people, it brought them apart from their parents.
Yeah.
But for me, I think I just realized that they, like I said, they grew with me, because I honestly am a changed person only because I went to uni and I met so many different people and I learned so much. And my parents, like I said, I'm blessed that they were open enough to be receiving of all of that. So I think I was obviously mental health, specifically that topic, was probably never touched upon like as a conversation. I don't think even till date we like specifically sit down and we're like, oh, how is your mental health? Like I don't think that's like a conversation.
That'd be so awkward.
Yeah, but like for example, like if I say that like my job is having like it's affecting my mental health, that's something we'll talk about. But it's not like I'll be like, oh dude, like today I'm feeling like like
How
that.
you doing?
Yeah.
Okay. And yeah, so all these factors that affect your mental health, let's get to that. So starting, like, let's start from the start, like when you're a child.
Yeah.
So childhood trauma, that's a baggage a lot of us possess and a lot of us don't even know.
Yeah.
And we don't recognize it. So I feel families do play a part in
Yeah.
shaping up like how your
100%.
family is. And then like what happened with me also, whenever I used to feel like, okay, no, this is something like it's problematic or whatever, when I was a child, I used to shut it out.
Yeah.
So that was my coping mechanism, to just not pay attention to
You
it.
still
at
do
all.
that.
And I still do that.
Yeah.
So yeah, if anything's affecting me, I'm like, no, let's like just block it,
Yeah.
and all of that. I think that blockage is something that's still in me, but
Like
I
I
still have
said,
to,
the walls.
yeah, the
Yeah.
walls. So I think that childhood is very important, like a crucial
Yeah,
part of
100%.
your life.
When I was younger, I let everything affect me until like very recently. I'm a stress ball. I overthink. I'm super
Yeah.
sensitive.
Very
In fact, there are
panicky.
times where in office, Kanika was probably going through her own shit, and there was like 2 or 3 days at like a stretch where she wasn't talking to anyone. And I would keep going and asking Ishika, I was like, is Kanika mad at me? Like, why is she not talking to me? Like, those type of thoughts like constantly go through my head, because I'm like,
Like
it's
it could be me.
probably nothing. It's probably people dealing with their own stuff. But I feel like it's me. Like I must have said something. I must have done something. So I think that is like it's a phase that everyone has to go through at some point in their lives.
I also feel till it happens to a person themselves, they don't understand that, okay, this is an issue
Crucial
or yeah,
thing,
it's
yeah.
important. Because that's what happened with me also. Some people are just not ready to accept it.
Yeah.
Like how I was. Fully I was so uptight about it, and I was like, like I too can't have this at all.
Yeah.
Like I'm full like I'm very systematic in terms of my
Yeah.
emotions. Ki yahan pe you express, here you don't express, whatever. And then when it started happening to me, it's like you can't even explain it.
Yeah.
When I started getting to that point, I was like, okay, now there's something wrong, because you're feeling things and
You're not understanding
you're
what's
understanding
going
what it
on.
is.
Yeah.
And it's like bolne mein, like to say about it and all, it's very easy to preach. Ki no,
Yeah.
control your emotions. That's what how you used to think. Ki
Yeah.
nahi, control kar lenge, you just manage, navigate through
Yeah.
it. But when you don't even know what you're feeling,
Yeah.
then what you will do?
Exactly.
Ki like you don't even know how to explain it to other
Yeah.
people. So that breaking point makes you understand that, okay, no, it's very important and how to get through it. And then physical health, how I think that also helps a lot
Yeah.
in terms of your mental
Yeah.
well-being. Like if you
Yeah.
start going to the gym regularly,
Exactly.
I think it develops that mental
So
strength.
yeah, and just endorphins are running, so you're happier. The happy hormones are kind of like running through you. I mean, this is what everyone says. Like I really, like I said, I haven't studied enough to know the science behind the connection, but I'm sure that it makes sense, right? If you're feeling better, if you're looking better, then even like I guess internally, you kind of feel like, okay, at least you're feeling like I can do it.
Do
Like
it,
I can
yeah,
get through
with
today.
achievement
That type
and
of
stuff,
thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's there. And what was one? There are some like these very disturbing memories like you have from school, either when you're bullied or anything. So do you recall any such kuch embarrassing story, like, or anything like which was like a teacher said
Yeah.
something or whatever?
Not a teacher, but
Like, you still remember after
yeah.
so many years.
So this was when I was in class 8. This group of girls. Okay, so I'm actually very close to them now. But in class 8, I used to do a lot of like drawing of like animated characters and stuff. Like I would like copy and like I would draw, and I would have like a file of them that was just kind of lying there. And I took it to school one day. And I came back and I see them missing. So I was like, obviously, like I started crying. I was like, what happened? Like, who would have taken? I was in an all-girls school. I don't know what that is relevant, but anyway. So then I found out that these group of girls stole it, as in they like took it to like hide it, just like torture me a little bit. And then I think a few days later, that time Facebook like posting on walls and all was very like prominent. So they used to post on my Facebook wall. I used to have these yellow Crocs. I was very proud of them, and they posted like really nasty things of like, like they were like I was like bawling. I was at the airport. I was coming back from Vaishno Devi, and I see it on my dad's phone because I didn't have a like personal phone that time. So I logged into Facebook with my dad's phone, and I'm seeing all this, and I'm just like, what is going on?
And on your wall only.
On my wall, it's not even like a direct message to me, and you know who you are. And they literally posted on my wall, and it turned into this whole thing. We went to like the principal of the school. It turned into like this whole thing. And then obviously we didn't talk for like a very long time. But now I'm extremely close to like one of those girls.
Whoa. Talk about,
We like grew up, so it was fine. So I have no like grudges, but it's like a hilarious like
Oh, God.
story to even think of that. That's why a lot of people, when they see us together now hanging out back home, they're like, "Didn't you guys hate each other?" And I was like, "Yeah, that was like what? Like I don't even know how
That's
long
a story
ago."
with a lot of people now.
Yeah.
I think you said you start with hate and then you.
Yeah, actually, I'm feeling like this is a
Yeah,
pattern.
there's a because even like Amrita, one of my closest friends, for her as well, I had the same feeling. Like she's such a bitch. She's so mean and all, and now we're inseparable.
Yeah.
So I think those relationships are the best.
Yeah, also when you're young, you really don't know what the hell you're doing.
Yeah.
Imagine class 8, like you're just doing whatever you want just to entertain yourself. Like it really doesn't matter. But yeah, I think all of that like really changes as you grow up. Like it doesn't have any impact on you
And
whatsoever.
if I recall, one memory that I have from school is that was more about like it's an embarrassing story. I was I don't know, I participated in some group thing. We had these different houses, and then my house won in a particular category or something like that. So our teacher gathered all the students from that house, and she was hugging everyone, and she was like, "Oh, girls, come here." And she did like this, she waved. I was like, "Oh, come. I think she's calling me." And then I was so happy. I was like, "Okay, ma'am." And then it turns out she was calling someone from
Oh
the
my
side.
god.
And I felt so embarrassed. That's the only memory I think I have from school. And that embarrassment was so deep rooted in me. I was like,
God.
now I will never go to anyone. I'll never say hi to anyone.
So extreme. This is so typical
Yeah,
Kanika. You
yeah.
take one thing and just take it so
Yeah.
extreme.
Let's get to the interesting part. The effect of toxic boyfriends on
Whoa.
your mental health. Okay, great.
You want to start? Feel like you probably have a lot more than I do to sort of unleash.
Let's go.
When you're in a relationship, people forget that you spend majority of the time with that person, right? More than you would with your parents. So, and you share a lot more than you. It's just normal, like human nature. You tend to be a lot more vulnerable with them, and they become like your number one, at some point in your life. And that's why I feel like any person that you let in to such a deep level has to have an effect on your mental health. And which is why it's very important. And it's not very easy to be like, oh, red flag, I'm going to avoid. Green flag, I'll go for it. Like everyone has like imperfections and shit. So I think it's very important to understand how to grow. Like if I compare, like I can't actually compare, but like right now my relationship, Touchwood, is very healthy, right? We've grown together. We've also been together for a very long time, but you learn how to be together, but also individually grow, but then together you have to grow.
Oh, yeah.
So I think that's very important, which obviously when you're 15, 16, you don't understand that. You're like, what is going on?
Yeah, actually, it's true. A lot of only and boys in here mature, I think, much later.
Yeah, that's true.
So that's also one thing. I think for me, I wouldn't say that I choose to date the red flags. I don't know what it is in me. I just attract the.
No, you know what? I saw this video once that said that it's not that you choose the wrong kind of person, it's that you accept them. So there's a lot of people that come your way, but you're only accepting the ones that are like, I guess, wrong for you. So yeah, I think that's what it is.
Could be. It
Yeah.
could be. Also because I'm like, okay, yeah, I agree. And you know what? The thing is, because I have always, like, I don't know, my nature is just to be like, no, I'll do it myself. Like, I'm that person. I don't
Yeah.
let other people do things for me. And mostly like these green flags and all people talk about, they're like, they'll do things for you, they'll do this and that. That actually puts me off. So maybe easily I attract the red flag.
Probably.
Because I'm like, I will
Like,
anyway
you
do
do
it
what you wanna
myself.
do,
Huh?
yeah.
So I will anyway do my own thing. You do your own thing. And
Yeah.
That's something I realized recently.
Probably.
That it could be that.
Yeah.
And but the thing is, I cut them off. Like, see, if somebody makes me, my like, breaking point is when somebody makes me feel stupid.
Yeah.
And
of
it's not
course,
like they are doing
that's-
it deliberately, even if
course.
they're not doing it knowingly.
Like
unknowingly.
mansplaining and stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah,
mansplaining and just putting you down, key, or just questioning my choices in a few things, and not letting me be who I am.
Yeah.
That's my breaking point. Tab tak it's fine. Tab tak even if you're toxic, I'll live with you, whatever. But when
Yeah.
you come to that extent where I start to feel like I start feeling stupid about my own self, then I'm like,
Of
"Nee,
course.
bye bye. Like,
Yeah.
I remember that guy he called me. He wasn't even my boyfriend, but he called me a bimbo, and I was like, "How dare he?" First
Oh,
of all, boys,
See,
these girls.
yeah.
Don't even
How
call
can you even
a person.
how can you call anyone this? Like, I don't understand.
Even in humor, it was so mean to say. I feel.
Yeah.
And I was like, he didn't even know me at that point.
Was it in humor? No.
He said it was in humor type.
That's
but I don't
that's
think
a
so.
cover up.
Yeah, he was a very he was like full of mansplainer only, and he's like, I'm better. He was the I'm better than you kind of boy.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I was
Ego.
like, I was
Yeah,
like, nahi, ye to nahi ho payega. And then the whole bimbo thing was really put me off.
Of course, dude.
Like, okay, I've gotten this from people like, okay, Kanika is dumb, Kanika is this and that, but that's the first thing people think about
Yeah.
me. But that's fine. I don't ever have any problem with it.
Why?
Because I just feel ki chalo, because I don't know. I'm very okay with it because I like to put that
As a front.
as a front. Ki let them think like that. Like, in office also, like so many people, they're just like, Kanika, like she won't get it. Like, let it be. Like, oh, they can get away with doing things because it's Kanika or whatever. But then, because they don't know me, I really like to keep that space very private.
Yeah, I think I was just gonna say, I was trying to think like why that would be something people
Yeah.
think. I think it's probably because of that.
And now maybe maybe because I'm doing these podcasts, now they'll see ki, oh no, she has that side. But again, I don't want to go in a deeper level of my
Yeah.
personality with a lot of people.
Yeah.
Only very like close people.
So
I
what the
don't know.
camera.
I like
I think I
having-
should a little bit talk to the camera. But yeah.
So I think because the whole corporate life and your personal life, they're two different things. But a lot of times people merge them
Yeah.
together. Like they start getting too affected by the work. Ishika, yes, that's you.
Yes,
So
I agree.
So they start getting so affected, like the work is everything. I
Yeah.
feel everybody should have something to do outside of work as well.
100%.
Like I can't sit and cry about my client all day. Ki nahi, he was mad at me, he didn't like my copy, so now I'm crying in my bed.
Ishika, are you listening?
Yes, just because your client didn't like your copies. It's
Yeah,
fine.
doesn't mean it's the end of the world.
So I feel, what is your like that thing outside of work? What's one thing you really like to do?
Good question. I mean, honestly, like, okay, I'll be honest. When I was working with the same company, I was so. The reason I left is because I was so mentally bogged down that even my weekends, I would just spend probably like staying in bed till like 2 p.m., 3 p.m. because I was like, oh, finally, like me time. And then I would wake up and be like, oh my God, I've wasted my entire day. I'm so not productive. Then I was like, I could have gone to the gym. Then I'd go out with friends or I'd go out
You
with.
had a gym phase. Remember?
Yeah, I had a gym phase, which is now come back now that I've left.
Oh.
Now that I'm just like trying to do things that I probably never had time to do. Like I've started doing pottery. I've been cooking a lot more. Like just random small things.
You should
right?
bake.
Like,
Those,
yeah, I probably should. I had a baking phase also during
Yeah.
COVID, but yeah, I mean, like just at that time, I didn't get a chance to do anything because I just felt so mentally drained every weekend after work. Because every time I would see like, something
Mails
about
coming.
work pop up, specifically from like certain people, I would like literally like anxiety would like rush through me. Like I would have sweats. So it was like it was like counterproductive for me, like my weekends. Now I think I'm getting back into doing, like I said, like I'm trying to eat healthier. I'm trying to just like do smaller things like pottery and stuff. Started drawing a lot more. So just small things. It doesn't have to be like a life-changing thing that you have to do. It's just like tiny things that bring you a little bit of happiness. Yeah, I think I've just
That's true. I think when you can't evaluate your personality based on what a client says about you, which I think in our
Yeah.
generation a lot of people, because they think it's good to be driven, it's good to be
Yeah,
on top
but-
of your game and everything, but they never understand it's not their life. Like,
Exactly.
that's also a big like pet peeve
Yeah.
I have with people who just think that their work is their life. Even businessmen and all of that. Okay, you have your business, it's your own
Yeah.
thing, but at least have something apart from.
Yeah, people make it
that.
the entire personality is like my work. Like,
Hmm.
oh, I'm like a
Workaholic.
finance bro, you know, like that's my personality. What do you do? I'm a finance bro.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah.
I think
Exactly.
that's
At least
what
for
it
some
is.
activity, and
Yeah.
which is why now the podcast, why I started this, is also because, like, I don't take my work any like personally.
Yeah.
Like I work.
You should.
But yeah, but I don't take it to heart. Like, I don't go home thinking about ki, arey shit, like this happened today
Yeah.
and I'm sucky and whatever. I finish it, try to finish, do overtime as well. All of that I've done. But I think I just never take it to heart. He said that about me. Now I'm feeling sad, which is why I was like, okay, now I'm bored because
Yeah.
I was working, but I was still bored
Yeah.
because I just didn't have anything to do. And then I was like, what do we really like? Then I was like thinking, and then I think in office only, I don't know who it was, but somebody was like, you should start a podcast. And I was like, I love talking. Let's just
Yeah,
go
might
ahead
as well
with it.
just do
yeah.
it. Yeah.
And that's how I was like, yeah, because
I think it's
Yeah.
great that honestly that you've started doing this and you've started doing it so passionately.
yeah, I'm consistent.
And
with
yeah, and
it.
consistency. Like that's huge because like some people like pick up a hobby and like after 2 weeks they're like, oh, okay, done.
Yeah.
But I think it's been like
It's true.
pretty. I think you can see that you're enjoying this, and that's why it's like the content is coming out so much better. I feel.
Yeah, yesterday only, I finished work around 6, but I had to edit Kudzai's video. So I was in office only, like, because I was like, chalo, we'll go home and like finish it. I was in the office till 8:39. You asked me to finish a client presentation, I will never do it. I will never sit in office
True.
till 8:39.
She will actually never
I
do
will
it.
never. But my
Talk about
podcast-
experience.
yeah. But yeah, she's done all-nighters also. I have not even.
She has not. She has not.
I don't do that. But for my video, I'm sitting in office full, like there was everybody had gone, and I was just like, okay, editing my video, adding subtitles and all of that. And I was like, this really makes me happy. It doesn't
Yeah.
feel like I'm working.
Yeah.
So yes, to everyone, all the corporate people, please just get a hobby, guys, and
Yeah.
just do it.
I saw this in, I think it was in Emily in Paris. It's a really weird place to find this amazing quote from. But I think one of them said, we work to live, not live to work. And I think that's super important for people to remember that why am I slogging my ass off 9 to 5 every day, doing all of this, making the money for what? Like to ultimately just end up in bed all weekend and just like not do anything. It's to actually live my life after, not even the weekend, like even after working hours, right? Like you're working so you can live a better life.
That's true. Yeah, I may forget that in the whole rat race and the whole competition
Yeah,
that's going
really.
on. Like, for me, I like my job. It's important. Obviously,
Yeah.
I don't. When I think okay, now I'm slacking, I pick up and
Yeah.
all. But for me, it's not. It's just a medium
Yeah,
to earn the money to spend it on things. I
exactly.
like.
That make you happy.
Yeah.
exactly.
So it's just providing me that. I mean, if there was no concept of money altogether, would any of us be working? I
Exactly.
don't
Like, why would we be working in like some?
Yeah, we would just be doing a pottery wherever
Yeah,
and
totally.
painting and whatever
exactly.
people like
What
to
a
do.
wonderful life that would be.
Yeah, imagine if there was no currency. And what if there were no visas? You could travel anywhere you want.
That's kind of wild. I feel like there would be like
I would
riots
go to
and
in the first
wars
place.
starting.
Oh yeah, even that.
Like, imagine the kind of people. It's not just me and you that want to travel to fucking London or something.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
a lot more.
Another pet peeve I have is people. I'm not again not being very uptight about the whole mental health thing, but I think another pet peeve I have is people who use their mental health as an excuse
Yeah.
to be treated differently.
100%.
Like they'll just be like, no, I'm depressed or I'm anxious, I'm having anxiety. Now don't talk to me. Like don't talk in the sense like treat me with more compassion,
Yeah.
which is okay.
Like
but
using it for
where do you draw a
sympathy?
line? Yeah. But where do you draw that line? Ki, no, this is actually coming from a like malicious intent and not to be
Yeah.
understood. That's my pet peeve, I think.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. I feel like, I mean, I've also like come across certain people that they hurt people because they are hurting.
Yeah.
And I think that is the worst thing you can do because, of course, you empathize and you sympathize with people that are hurting. They've gone through different battles, but that's no excuse to treat someone else badly and be like, oh, I was going through a bad phase because I was dealing with, so and so. So I'm going to treat you badly. I feel like that's like the worst thing you can do because, come on, like, we're adults. Like, you need to have some sort of self-awareness to understand that, okay, if I'm hurting, there's ways to deal with it.
Exactly.
But not
yeah.
inflict your pain onto
others.
someone else. That's
Yeah, and then hide behind this whole thing of being depressed or being
Yeah,
this and
I think
that.
that's,
I
like,
feel everybody
ridiculous.
is on the spectrum of mental illness. Everybody's
Yeah.
at some
Yeah, exactly. And
point.
people are going through like much more than probably someone who's using it as an
As an
excuse. So it's not fair.
I've never seen a boy or a man to talk about mental health or even understand mental health properly as I think they should. Like my own brother, let's say, like if I'll tell him that I had a breakdown, his response, watch a movie. Like, do you think it didn't come in my head? Like, what makes you think I did not think of
Yeah.
things which could make me
Being
feel
happier,
better?
yeah,
But this is not helping. Anything's
Yeah.
not helping. So yeah, I think they are just not. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I was trying to think, as you were saying, I was trying to think of like a lot of people that I know personally, but I don't know too many people actually that, like, too many men that, you know, openly discuss mental health.
As females, they're a bit more. We're more like
I
I
don't
think.
know why though. Like, I don't understand. Like, do they see it as a sign of weakness, or like, I don't understand. Like, but this is what I'm saying. I think it just comes from the mindset of everyone, including, for example, if I'm a male who is going through, you know, some sort of mental health issues, and I think it's just the mindset of people won't accept me for who I am. I'm not macho
You're
enough.
shy
Like,
about. Yeah.
yeah. So I don't know. I
Yeah.
feel like I said, let them. Like, just you do what you want to do. Let society go
That's
do
the answer
what
for
they want.
everything.
Let them.
Let them.
This is now you come and ask me anything from now on. Let them.
Just do. I
I'm
think
just gonna
yeah,
do
it's
that.
also the conditioning. Boys don't cry. Men don't cry.
Yeah.
But then there are men who cry too much. That's also irritating. Like okay, I mean.
Only you go through these phases of this man is not crying, no, this man is crying too much.
Yeah, some don't cry at all, and some this cry too much.
Yeah.
So that's what I think. Wow, females are so much better. We're much more emotionally intelligent.
Wow.
Maybe more
Feminism. Women are
We're
better.
gonna have another episode on feminism.
Oh God, don't include me in this conversation, please. I don't want to hear and get some backlash and be cancelled
No,
or
what are your
whatever.
thoughts on feminism? You wanna discuss
Oh
that?
God. I thought we were doing mental. Can we just
Okay, we'll just
stay
stick to
on
that.
one topic?
Feminism,
I'll
we'll talk
come back,
about
guys.
later.
If you all really
Yeah.
like me, I'll come back.
Yes,
Don't worry.
we'll do a part 2 with this.
Yeah. Should I do some
But-
ASMR?
Okay, try. At least slurp on it. No,
Oh, I'm up to slurp. I was doing the.
no, slurp. Nice. I like it. I can't slurp, but
A man just crossed us. That probably thought I'm mental.
it's fine. Let them, Garma.
Let them. Let them. Okay, well, this is the end.
Ending note. I also. Hurry up. Yeah,
The
wait.
man is
I would've
standing
forgot.
there.
It's fine. You won't talk. No,
We're just staring at each other.
no, wait. You need a thumbnail. Let's take some thumbnail shots.
Oh, wait, ending note?
Oh, no,
Outro?
wait, sorry. Yes, one ending note. One other thing I feel is sorry, it's wrong.
You're going into the whole topic, bro. They're gonna cover
Another reason why I used to think that mental health is not like I don't believe in it is also because I feel that only the rich people make this thing in their heads, and because they have the free time and the money to come up with these problems, they make these problems. But no, it's not that. Even poor people can have mental health issues, and
I
yeah.
feel like they have more.
Yeah,
I
because
don't
they
have
have
money
more,
to
like,
buy me
trauma.
happiness, bro. Like,
That's true. Yeah, I used to think कि यार the rich people can इनके पास इतना तो they have the money, they can do whatever they
bro,
want.
everyone has problems. You can be probably even Ambani and probably
Yeah.
still have, you know, a ton of issues. Like, I don't think.
I agree.
It's just
There's
about
nobody in
rich or
this world
poor.
who does not have issues.
Yeah, which is why everyone go to therapy. Go to therapy.
Great.
Or
Okay.
therapy.
So thanks for watching. I hope this helped you. And if you're looking for a sign to go to therapy, this is it. And also,
Because there's nothing wrong with it.
yes, and let them.
Let them. I'm gonna tattoo this on my forehead. Next time you see me, let them.
Let them. Okay, now we're gonna go. Bye.
Anyway,
we're gonna take it out.
bye.
Just take some. What should we take? Should I hold it?
I don't know.
But my both videos will have the same. Maybe you should just pose like with, just pose like that. Like this.
Okay.
Let's just pose like we're talking. इसी का मैं thumbnail बना दूंगी.